I want to welcome everybody today. For those who are joining for the first time, then obviously welcome. It's really great to have you guys on board, and for the returners, then it's lovely to see you. Hopefully that means that you have enjoyed our previous session, which is really good. So this is for everybody. It's not just for Scrum Masters or, you know, people who are deep into Agile, but for everyone in the community. So you developers, consultants, whoever it might be, administrators, architects, you name it. As long as you are aspiring and interested in the topic, then everybody is really welcome. So thank you for that. And ahead of myself, but again, just, you know, thank you for joining and spending this time. Everybody's time is so precious. So it's really lovely to have you guys on board with us today. And I am one of the co-hosts here. So my name is Helen Garcia. I am a Scrum Master, Agile coach, and I love working in the industry, and I love sharing and being able to absorb knowledge from other people as well. So Ines, if you don't know Ines already, Ines Garcia, she's the co-host here. I'll let her introduce herself momentarily. I'll just go through some of the more administrative type stuff. Right, so today is pretty exciting. Well, I'm extremely excited about it actually, as we are having a more hands-on gaming experience. And we've got Dipti, who is with us today. So I'm super excited about that. Yeah, she is a wonderful, amazing individual, which I will do more of a fanfare for you a little bit later. But just for your information, we are recording this session. So we will be using that as sort of reusable content, but also be able to post that back onto the meetup group as well for you guys to watch as many times as you desire, and share as well. We have a time box of 1 hour and 15 minutes. So 8 minutes in, I think we will be good for time, but we will be sort of watching that throughout. We would love if you could utilize some of the chats here as well. So we've got, you know, the usual, if you haven't used chat before or used Zoom before, it's kind of up or right. I'm showing my screen, so it's slightly different for me. But just put your hands up if you're struggling with that. And we're going to test your technical chat knowledge, or abilities, I should say now. So first question. I would love to ask and love to understand what kind of games you have played in work before. So if you want to whack it in the chat, I'd like to, yes, understand your experience there. Just trying to find my chat. So we have, I might need your help actually, Ines, because my chat box isn't coming up.
Yeah, so we have some entries. We have liberating structures, DS builders, another one called beds, nerds and pets, range of variety there of games.
Brilliant, excellent. It's good to see that we're all adults, but yet still playing games. It's important to get people to think differently in the workplace. So cool, right. So just before we do the intros, then Ines is just going to take us through a couple of things by what we mean by gaming and gaming in the workplace. So without further ado, I will hand this over to Ines. Over to you.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, it's not only because we love them, it's because there is research behind us that actually works quite well. So just to show you, these are some of the games that I love and I've been playing recently. And there is a lot of different things that you can learn with normal games that you can apply into the structure and the things that it makes you convey. So I just wanted to mention the why are we even talking about this today? And it's because it has a tons of good stuff of bringing gaming in our working environment. So it helps you clicking the brain in a different manner. It reduces tension, and it helps you to build a cohesive team. It helps you to think about direction in a different way, to develop a strategy with different point of views, and to be more adaptable. And ultimately, our environment is ever changing. When you design a game, there are a few things that are worth to bear in mind. Also, I'll put in the chat in a minute an article which is quite interesting, that is how the CIA uses board games to train their officers. It's a good read. So yes, aside of the benefits, there are some things to consider when you're planning an activity that may have some gaming flavor. If you can, next slide, of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. So keep things simple, because it's very easy to get things overcomplicated, especially when you're designing how something's going to be. You're closer to it, and you can start adding a lot of different bits. Now put your mind into someone that's going to be hearing the game for first time in a very short amount of time. So the simplest, the better. And storytelling really helps to create relatable to what you're doing or what you're about to do with the team. So that's important. Put it within a context. When you're designing it, think about how all voices can be heard. What is the different strategy that you can take? For example, maybe subgroups of a big group, so that everybody has the opportunity to have a say, right? Not all of us are wired in the same manner. Some people are happier to jump in quicker into tell what their opinion is about. So it's important that we are designing these things in a way that helps collective genius. And with that idea of collective genius is how we can learn from each other. If you are segmenting the things in different groups, how are they going to play back their learnings to the rest? Because we do not have enough time in our life to learn all mistakes or all new learnings. We need to learn from each other to really enrich. And there you go. That's our collective genius. And so I heard also, I was asking our guest of today, which are the benefits? Why are we even talking about gamification, right? And gamification breaks the monotony, creates a space for creativity and innovation to foster and taps into subconscious of human mind where maximum our potential is stored. Gamification helps us see beyond our limit thoughts and beliefs, help us imagine possibilities that we are not aware of.
Amazing. Right, so thanks very much. To just do a little bit of a warm up there, but without further ado then, we are extremely happy to have Deepti with us today. Deepti is the founder of Agile Virgin, the Chief Enabling Officer of WAT, the India Agile Community Chief at Agile Alliance. She's a trainer, certified professional, organizer of FunConf, which I'd love to hear a little bit more about. My understanding, it's an India first day unconf focused gamification. I dare you all to try and say this, but it sounds really exciting and really a great initiative as well, and quite inspiring. So please do check out some of her fantastic work, also that can be seen on the agilealliance.org as well. But yeah, I just welcome, and over to you, Deepti.
Thank you so much. So yeah, I mean, I work in India. I am from India, and I started my career in 2005, and then still from 5 till 15, I was working with this US-based MNC, and a gradual progression from software engineer to a role which was on the team lead kind of stuff. And that's when I realized I'm not a people manager. I'm more of a collaborator. I'm a people's person, but I don't like owning responsibility on others' behalf and ensuring that they deliver. Around 13 is when my organization started talking about Agile and let's do Agile and stuff. And I was so bored and I said, I want something new. And my manager said, why not? This is something new, try this out. So we were given the basic trainings and all. And that's when it triggered that, wow, they talk about autonomy. They talk about team decides. They talk about team plans. They talk about individuals' own responsibility, and it's a team's collective responsibility. And so I was like, yes, that's what I want. I am not a manager material. And that used to look like the only growth path. And I wanted something else. So we started with our first Scrum project. And oh my God, I was such a horrible Scrum master. It just backfired. So, as games are amazing, and so is our neuroelasticity, when we are younger. As we grow, we've just become so cynical and so resigned, and we strongly believe in a certain way of being and doing things. So as much as I loved Agile, I loved it for myself. I didn't want any boss for me. But I didn't stop bossing around to all my team members, who were reporting into me. And because they were younger, excited, and they just had so much hopes and ideas and dreams, and they wanted to explore, they were like, no, this is not Agile, Deepti. This is just like you being manager and telling us. And I was so ashamed, I'll be honest, but that was a point where I started learning, and that's where I started, oh, that's what they mean when they say mindset. And that's what they say, that this mindset will help you in creating right culture. To my luck, I got another engagement, and I really did well thanks to my failure in the first attempt. And and I started doing a lot of stuff. I was always a great unfit for the way of because the way I used to think, or the way I used to work, and I was a collaborator. And when you're in a corporate, it is a lot of ego between line managers and then business unit managers and all. So you just don't collaborate and solve the problems. You just satisfy egos, and you let things escalate, and you only solve them when they're escalated, so that your team looks important. Okay. And I was not like that, and so I was always in the spotlight. Who asked you to do it? And I used to wonder, I did the good job, I did the right thing. Anyways, it was a tremendously rewarding learning path for me. In 2015, I became independent. And when I became independent, everyone told me you will not get job and nobody will give you consulting assignments. What do you know? You just have 10 years of experience. You're too young. It is, it feels so cool to be called young. So, and so that's when, but to my luck, I started getting small assignments, and life is amazing. So since 15 till this date, I never looked back, and I never regretted that decision. The tremendous amount of freedom I felt, the autonomy, and I found my purpose. Of course, there were lows where I felt, is this the right, field to be in? Because of course, all the organizations want to go agile, but to the team level, when it comes to let go of, your control over people and letting them evolve and innovate, we all get cold feet, and we all don't like that. So yeah, I felt that. And I am as I'm constantly saying, I am a collaborator. I like group studies. I can't even hinge on to videos, forget reading stuff. Of course, I can read a lot of fiction, Sidney Sheldon and Eric Siegel and all of that, but yeah, I can't even watch those amazing animation based videos. My mind keeps wandering. So group study is something that helped me. And so it started from there, like, Helen and Ines, I started my meetup group. And so it was I think it was first meetup group that a lady started there in India. There is a little, cultural thing. People feel little conscious, coming to a meetup where they might have a host, lady. There is respect, a culture of, okay, we respect women, we maintain distance, that kind of thing. And I don't want to get into a lot of culture stuff there. But that's where I started meeting people, and I had so many ideas, and I got my stage, and I started, creating stuff. And so, as Ines and Helen was talking about FunConf, it started with Agility Today, which is India's first and biggest unconference. We run it for 6 months. It's an unconference, not a conference. So, we keep celebrating different stuff. It runs for 6 months, and a lot of stuff haven't. We call them Agility Enabling Spaces. Then the next thing that we did was a contest. which was again online and which runs for 8 weeks. And that's when we reached to FunCon. We said we want to gamify things. We want to learn, gamification as well as serious games at work. And so that's when, yes, it was an act of faith, but it was a huge hit and we never looked back. And coming weekend, we again have FunCons, and I want to invite very dearly to all of you. Please join us. At the end of the meetup, I'll share the link. And now that meetup has started, let me just share 2 links with you, and then I'll get started on what we are going to do. So the best part is I am facilitator, but you will be driving it and you will be concluding what we learned out of it, because it will be so obvious and it will be so present, and it will just appear in front of you. And so that's the beauty of gamification. Nobody has to do nothing. We play and we learn. So now this game is all about how to understand what will work best for a given team, how they can discover their working agreements, and not just talking about, okay, fine, all of us will assign one story to ourselves each day, and in the evening we will connect to give status, and please, whosoever opens a story will have to close this story, and please mention the hours you have dedicated to a story. No, not that kind of working agreements, but the agreements which actually work for a group. Like, I'm very sensitive, you can't talk to me like that. Or you're too bossy, but I can't share that you're too bossy. I don't enjoy the tone you talk to me. Or you rush me through everything. You don't let me think. Please, I'm a slow thinker. I want to soak things up, and then I have to put all my options out, and then I decide. So don't rush me in. So have you heard those kind of conversations in your team, and yet you have not been able to bring them out in retrospective? How are you going to go about such sensitive things actually? I had a team and everyone collectively, said this about the senior developer. Everyone had dependency, right? So they had to bear her. But this one was too bossy and she was aspiring to be the boss. And so she was trying to prove her worth. And so she would just push everyone, do it, do it, do it. And she was very bossy, man bossy actually. But she was in a very aggressively leading, and she was not taking in account the pace at which each team member could meet. Also, there was no enrollment. People were not in alignment with what she was, envisioning. So yeah, and then people finally decided to open up in a retro, and they said, we don't like the way you talk to us. And she started crying, and so it just backfired, for the Scrum Master especially. So yes, what to do? So before we reach there, probably, this one game is so cool for everyone to understand how they are. And so what is the game? In this game, I'll show you something. This is not a presentation that, I'm going to run. This is a presentation over which you will play. This is the presentation. And can you look at my screen?
Yeah. Yep, we can see that, yeah.
Perfect. So I have created teams, team 1, team 2, team 3. I wasn't sure how many breakout rooms we will go in, so I just randomly put 7 teams. So, when we are looking for a direction, we depend on compass, right? It shows us which direction we should go. And so similarly, at the first step, this game will, set compass for each one of us, in which direction we are already standing. And then it will help us how collectively we can move forward. What is our forward? What will be our pace? So now what do you have to do? Let me also share the note thing, which is the description. What is our north and south? Okay, cool. Yeah. I've already shared this with you also. Don't worry if you don't have it with you right now. Just be wanting. Okay, so there are 4 major divisions on the personality types that we all have decided. And what are those major divisions? I'm sorry that I missed out on copy pasting this stuff on the slides. That was the intention, but I just ended up making slide. And so when I ended up making slide, I forgot to copy paste this stuff. So here are, I would encourage, if you can take a snapshot, you must all have a snipping tool. Does anyone see any issue with the snipping tool? Just raise your hand, or do you see any concern with the snipping tool? You know what is, okay, perfect, I'll tell you.
No, I don't have concerns. I don't see snipping tool on my.
Okay, you just have to, go here and you type snip on your Explorer. SNIP, snip. When you do that, okay, you will find this tool. Yeah, perfect. Now what do? You take your snipping tool, which is here, and you just click new. And when you click new, it gives you this slicer, and you cut it, and you just have it, right? So, and this is how each one of you will have this image handy with you. I'm very sorry. I was supposed to, write all of this there, but I don't know where I was, and I just kept on, putting the 7 teams, and yeah. So please let me know when I can move on from this screen.
By the way, I like this section because this gives us chance to do something, right?
Oh, I can't hear you, Sunil. I can't hear you. What are you saying?
What I was saying is, the way you forgot, I like that because it is giving us opportunity to do something ourselves.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And by the time you will all reach there, I'll probably find my, the topics which are written, and I'll probably copy paste. So if I have to tell you, North is someone who is, moving very fast and constantly, quickly jumping from topic to topic. Probably someone who is fast at working, or maybe even if he or she is not fast, he or she likes to move fast, take quick decision. So even if we don't have all the answers, but let's move on. Let's let's make it work. Let's do it quickly. Then East is someone who keeps on examining, looking at the big picture. And so he or she does not take quick actions. And of course, when you look at the big picture, you think of a big picture, you think of all aspects, it takes some time. So you are that kind of person. Then West is a person who is very much detail focused. So wherein who will do, what will do, where are we going to do it? And, again, too much of thinking, but different from your big picture kind of thinking, just detailing around everything. If you have to do a POC, think about that. So putting all options on the table. And here we are not talking about all options on the table. We are rather talking about considering the scenario, what is best, how is scalability going to happen, how do we keep it decoupled and stuff like that. Now, the South is a person who is very considerate and caring, and he or she wants to take, every voice into account, and then based on that, make a decision. Want to have consensus, can't move without consensus, or cannot hurt the other person's this thing. So, it becomes very indecisive for those people a lot of time. What is the right thing to be done? So I'm again focusing it here and bringing for everyone. I hope you have taken your snipping tool and taken all the snips. Please tell me if someone is still not done with that. Please tell me. I'm looking at.
Give me one more minute. I'm just struggling.
Absolutely. Yes,
I'm just struggling on this PC that's not mine on how to minimize this screen so I get to my snipping tool.
I'm sorry for putting you in this trouble. Yeah.
Perfect. Stay there. I will snip.
I've popped something in the chat as well. I've popped my my screenshot if you want to, if anybody's looking.
No, I've got it now. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you. Perfect. So now, how are we going to do this activity? So we all go into breakout rooms in a group of 3 or 4, based on how many of us are here. I think we will go for 2 rooms because we are total 10, and so 5 each. And what we are going to do, so we have team 1 and team 2. That's all. We'll need 2 slides. Now, all of you have PPT. So please consider your room 1 to be team 1 and your room 2 to be team 2. And you open this. Now, I have also shared link for this Google Sheet. which I think is also mentioned on this slide, Google slide as well. So you just copy paste and you open that sheet. And so for team one, your team tab one will automatically open, and for team two, your tab will be automatically open. So what do we do once we are there on this slide? We all share how do we feel. So you just click the text box, and let's say you feel you are here, and I'm so aptly here. And so, I'll put my name here. And so first thing first, we all analyze who are we, looking at the snip that we have. This is my snip. Okay, so am I north, or am I east, or am I west? So we try and find out that, put our names. Let's put it little colorful so that people can see. And now when I talk about colorful, here is the option. Sorry to bore you. Yeah. So, this is how we'll put our names. And so in each room, we have each slide to be used. And then what we are going to do as one team, we will discuss. Can you work with Deepthi? Oh my God, I can't work with people like Deepthi because she's just too confusing and chaotic. She creates so much of chaos because, she's always moving fast and speaking fast and, pushing us all to make decision fast. She easily gets bored and irritated, that kind of thing. And we will also go in, circle describing, I feel that I can't work with people like Deepthi. Wherein people in the East, yes, I like them. They are mature people. They look at the big picture. When you look at the big picture, you also ignore a lot of smaller things, because your focus is on big picture. So big picture, let's say, is overall improvement. So then you don't get into these things like, no, we will only work when the escalation will come. The first example which I took. So stuff. And when you say detail oriented, probably, Deepthi will say, oh my God, I really get bored with them. They just take so much time to make decision. And then when you talk about South, are the people who are very caring. So then, you feel like, so I'm just giving examples. Please don't think that I feel like that. So, Deepthi will say, oh my God, they're just too soft. And so they can't even come forward and say the right thing to someone who's doing it wrong. And, things like that. Now, when that discussion happens and you get good 5 minutes to do that discussion, we go to these sheets. Now, here is team one's sheet and there is team two's sheet. So what are you going to do? If Deepthi is type north, she'll put her name here. If Ines is type east, she will put her name here. So, so on and so forth. Sunil is like this, he'll put his name here. So I'm going to delete all of this because you will fill it. And then you talk about, okay, what is strength of north? What are her limitations? Is it like, for north, what is the most difficult style to work with? Probably east. Then I don't mind caring people. And I'm just all coming from what Deepthi will like. So, you mentioned what is the most difficult style to work for you as north. Now, what will happen? Let's say in a room, 2 people turn out to be north. So there, both of their perspective will come. So just be mindful and like, type like this, or let one person type or something like that, decide among yourself, self-managing teams. And then the other point is how to work effectively with your, efficiently and effectively with your style. So with North, if you want something to move fast, work with her. You come with your details, but work with her, and she'll ensure that all your work is done really fast. She will cut excessive thinking from your plan, and she will say, let's take some risk and let's have a quick plan B. Like, if this risk happened, how are we going to mitigate? And then what is valued in other styles. So North will share what does she value in East or West or South. So she'll say, yeah, I appreciate big picture. I really have a lot of respect for big picture. Even on the detailed thinking, I love how they can see so many scenarios and where all risk can be or where all we can get early success and stuff like that. Or so this is what you have to do. So what I will do now, I'll stop sharing and I will send us all in the breakout rooms. Okay, before that, is there any question? No, we are good. So now what are we going to do? We will put everyone into breakout rooms. We'll make 2 teams and both the teams, so based on your breakout room, it will be team 1 and team 2. So let me just create 2 breakout rooms, assign automatically, and let's create it. And so when you go to breakout room, you do first the PPT, and then you do the result. And then once we are out, each room will share their outcome. Okay, so let's create. And when I'm creating, it is asking me to give time. Let's take 6 minutes, which is absolutely enough. And the counter will let us know as soon as we are left with 2 minutes. Okay. A different personality type kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Even I wasn't able to recall. Also, where is Sumit? He got lost in your room, or I think he exited. I was about to, write that don't just exit the entire thing.
He was the one that taught Helen and I how to get back into this room.
Yes.
I was typing
floating in the cloud.
See, that's what happens, when we are taking people on the track, we slip. I mean, not always, but sometimes. Hi, Samir. Okay, so let's share what did we find, and let's take.
No,
You got dropped on your own.
I know, that's fine.
So, you can share your screens, and probably, each team can take 2 to 3 minutes and share their findings and what did, this game will actually give them.
Who has ours? Is it you, Helen?
Yes, yeah. Shall I go for it? Go first. Here we are. Classic question. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so instead of me doing all the talking, who would like to do the talking? I've been talking all night.
I'm happy to talk.
Lovely. Thanks, Mary.
Okay. So you'll see down bottom left, we had been collaborating all the way through. So we decided that we would just do east, west, south, and north in one box. Really, Helen just did all the work, and Sunil and I didn't do any, but I'm just going to take credit for her work now. So Helen went in as north, which is the keeps moving quickly, kind of diving straight in. I forget the exact wording. So the strengths we said were that you would fail fast and learn quickly, and also that it's idea churning. Limitations are that you would fail hard, possibly. Could be reputational or financial damage by just diving in, doing something, not really thinking through, the impacts of what you might do. Okay. Style, most difficult to work with was the West, because they take too long, because they need to find out every detail. So it just takes too long, just becomes frustrating for someone who wants to get going, move on, do something. Yeah. I can do, so I'll do the what is valued in other styles, but this was a collective. So for the East, which was somebody who looked at the big picture, we thought that the person who looked at the big picture would be business value focused. So, objective focused, business value focused, and just make sure that everybody's doing the right thing for the big picture and not just for themselves, for their small piece of work. But the West, who again are the detail-oriented people, the value that they provide is they can ask the right questions. So if you have, an East person who's saying, well, I've considered these options and I think we'll go with option C, they might say, well, what about this detail and what about that detail and how's that going to work, because that may not work because of this, that, or the other thing. So they provided a good balance. South is a collaborator, so they're able to build a strong team and bring out the strengths of each of the individuals, because everybody on the team has something to contribute. They have their own strengths. They have, something they bring to the table that make the team successful. So the southern person, can bring that out of everybody and bring it together. And the North, again, we said they stimulate ideas, they keep the team moving, they keep them productive, with their kind of energy and enthusiasm and whatnot. And then if I go up to East, a bit more strengths, likely to pick the best choice. Limitations, doesn't have the specific details, so something could go wrong if they're just basing it on the big picture and kind of options at a high level. The style that I find most difficult to work with is probably the detail-oriented person, just because of they want to know everything before, you know, we can move on, or before presenting findings or so on. And how to work effectively with my style. I provide the details when picking options. So again, it's that balance between the East and West, where if I say, here's the big picture, I think this option is probably best because of X, Y, and Z, that detailed person can then go and make sure there won't be problems with that option. And then we had, Sunil was Southerner, which was the collaborator, someone who likes to find out what everybody wants, what everybody's opinion or thoughts are. So the strengths, collaborative, get team buy-in, be a servant leader. Limitations, it could take a long time to make a decision or to get moving initially. Style they found most difficult to work with. Seems like we all struggle with the very detailed person who takes too long. How to work effectively with his style was to build a great team, be part of that team. That's ours.
Awesome. So let's ask the other team, you know, what did they find? And probably they can just share over and above, you know, this one.
Sorry, I could have kept sharing my screen. My bad. It was very unteamly of me, wasn't it?
No, you're just a fast-paced mover. You were just moving.
Yeah, I know. I just want to get it done. Get it done.
You were just ahead of us. You thought somebody else was. You wanted somebody else to start.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Please, over to you.
You northerner, you.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Aaron and Ines, yeah.
Ines.
Aaron, again, I speak too much, but I'll give it a good go. So yeah, being to the dynamics of the game itself, it changed a little bit, especially because one ended up